Gotta love golden hour. So it's time for round 2 on our class 1 fungicide. I'm gonna put that down today, but before I do that, I wanted to just kind of give you a follow-up on everything that we've done so far. That doveweed application is starting to really take effect. I'm starting to notice some yellowing and browning going on in that. So it's working. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to put down a second application, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. Nut sedge, pretty much taken care of. It's all burnt off. I'm not noticing it anywhere in the turf, so I think we've pretty much got that under control. Honestly, not quite sure what all was mixed in right here with the doveweed, but you can see that application of herbicides that we did in the doveweed video is doing a good job of not only taking care of the doveweed, but a lot of the other weeds that were kind of just mixed in here. We've actually gotten a really nice break in the weather. It's been really cool in the mornings here in Georgia. We've been in the high 60s, low 70s, so I'm gonna take advantage of that and go ahead and get my second application of our class 1 fungicide down. So I'm not gonna bore you with mixing, so cue the montage and music. Round 2 of our class 1 fungicide is done. The first round that we put down did a really good job of stopping the disease in its tracks, and I really haven't noticed it spreading to anywhere else in the turf, but I do know that it's still there. We've noticed that it's still pretty present, which is why we hit it with another curative rate of that class 1 fungicide. From here, we'll rotate to our class, I think 11 is what we're planning on using, and we'll go at a mid rate. We're not gonna use the lowest or the highest. We'll go in between those two, put one application of that down, and then just reassess, see where we're at with our disease, and go from there. Now for the doveweed. I had briefly mentioned that I think we're gonna have to hit that again with our post-emergent that we used in the how to get rid of doveweed video. Yeah, we're most certainly gonna have to do that. We're gonna have to go a second round with that post-emergent to knock this doveweed out of this turf. But there's some things we have to consider, and let's talk about that. All right, so like other people who are nuts about lawn care, I like to physically write things down on paper because I don't know, I retain it better. So here we are in July. This July 11th is when I made my first application of our class 1 fungicide, and I had to count out 14 days to today when I made my second application of my class 1 fungicide. And in between there, as you can see on the 19th, is when I did my first round for the doveweed. Now, per the label of the post-emergent that we used to spray for the doveweed, I need to wait 30 days after my first application to make my second application. So if we count out 30 days from July 19th, that's gonna put us into the third week of August. Roughly around August 18th is when we should think about and look at doing our second application for the doveweed. And again, I've preached this in the fungicide rotation video. We do 14 days in between our applications. Depending on the fungicides that you're using, it's roughly 14 days. So if I count out 14 days from today, when I made this video, July 25th, that's gonna put me to August 8th, when I should be making my first application of our class 11 fungicide at the mid rate. Also on the label of the post-emergent we used for the dove weed, it says we need to wait 3 weeks after our application before we can think about or considering doing any kind of reseeding or overseeding in our turf here at DMO headquarters. So if we count out 3 weeks from August 18th, that's gonna put us roughly into the first full week of September. So September 8th, around then is when we're clear to do some overseeding. And actually that's kind of perfect because we were already looking at possibly doing our overseeding in this first 2 weeks of September here. Again, it all depends on the weather, what our conditions are like around then, but that's when we're looking at doing our overseeding. So why am I doing all this? Why am I writing it down? Why am I telling you this? I hope you followed that logic and it made sense. These are the kind of things that we need to think about when we're putting down these applications of these herbicides. We need to look ahead and think about when we're gonna do some aerating and overseeding, like what we're gonna do in our turf here at DMOHQ. And because we are talking overseeding, that means fall is right around the corner, although it doesn't seem like it because it's still, like I said, today we're getting up to a high of 95 and the humidity is like 70 or 80,000%. We need to think pre-emergence. Are you going to be putting down a pre-emergent? If so, whatever pre-emergent you choose for your needs, you need to read the label and understand how many days out from your application of that pre-emergent can you overseed. You can't put down a pre-emergent and then soon after do an overseeding. It just doesn't work like that. Pre-emergents do exactly what they say. They keep things from emerging. So if you put down that barrier, you try to throw down some seed, it's just not going to work. On the opposite side of that, if you put down some seed and try to put down some pre-emergent on top of that, you're wasting your time and money with your seed. So choose one or the other. If you're going to put down the pre-emergent, like I said, put your application down, understand how many days out from that application can you overseed, then it's safe to overseed. Likewise, if you're gonna overseed, you need to wait a certain amount of time if you are and can put down a pre-emergent to do that. That's the joys of shooting lawn videos in an office park. You gotta contend with these truck drivers. So that's where we're at. We're gonna do a second application of the post-emergent herbicide to take care of our doveweed problem, and then the next major step is aerating and overseeding. If any of that didn't make sense and I just lost you, sound off in the comment section below on any questions that you might have lingering in your head after listening to me ramble for however long this video is. Like always, links to all the products are in the description box below, so you can click over to domyown.com, read more about them. And if you have any other questions on anything that relates to lawn care that we can answer for you, leave those in the comment section below. Email the customer service staff or pick up the phone, give us a call. If you're not already, click that button right there to subscribe to our channel. You can click that link right in here to watch the most recent episode in the lawn care series. And if you want to watch from episode 1, click that playlist right there. And as always, thanks for watching.